Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David and in this video I'm gonna explain to you how to play the game Forest Shuffle. Easy rule card game with beautiful artwork where 2 to 5 players will try to score the most points with their forest. So please let me show you how it's played. In the center of the table you'll put this board, the clearing. Here you will discard your cards. There's also a set of reference cards available to check the scoring for each of the cards in the game. But most probably you won't need them because it's pretty clear explained on the cards themselves. There are two types of cards. There are trees and there are other cards, and the other cards are animals, plants and mushrooms. You shuffle those all together. When playing with 5 players you use all of the cards. For each player less you remove 10 cards from the game, so when playing with 2 players you have to remove 30 cards from the game. Then you make 3 even piles and you'll put this 3 Winter is Coming cards in one of those piles. 2 of them you shuffle into the pile and the other one, so shuffle, and the other one you put on top of the pile. This will be the bottom part of the draw pile and you put the other 2 on top. So this will be your draw pile for this game. Each player will get 1 cave card. During the game it's possible to put cards under this cave, and at the end of the game they are worth 1 point for each card in your cave. This is the symbol for points. Then all players will get to draw 6 cards from the draw deck. If your starting hand does not have a tree, you are allowed to discard all 6 of those cards and draw 6 new cards, but then you have to deal with the cards you got. If you did get a tree, you are not allowed to discard your cards. And then basically we're ready to start. And when it's your turn, it's super easy. Either you take 2 cards or you play 1 card. You can take 2 cards from the clearing, from the draw deck, or you take 1 card from the draw deck and 1 card from the clearing. That's up to you. Or you can play 1 card. If you want to play a card, you need to pay the costs that are in the left upper corner of the cards. In this case, if I want to play this European Fat Dormouse, I have to pay 1 card from my hand into the clearing and then I can play this card. However, all of these cards you cannot play unless you have space for them with a tree. So first thing you need to build is a tree. In this case I will play this horse chestnut. I need to pay 1 card. So I'll just take 1 random card and put it in the clearing. And now I have built this tree. This single tree is worth 1 point. If I at the end of the game collected up to 7 trees or more, the total set is worth 49 points. So the more of these type of trees I grow in my forest, the more points the set will be worth. And remember, it's also on the clearing. Whenever you place a tree in your forest, you have to take the top card from the draw deck and put it into the clearing. Then at the end of your turn you always have to check if there are 10 or more cards in the clearing, because if there are 10 or more cards in the clearing you'll have to remove all of them and put them out of the game. So now it's the next player's turn, and that player can choose to either pick 2 cards from the draw pile, maybe take these 2 cards or a combination of them. Your hand limit is always 10 cards. If I have 9 cards in my hand at the start of my turn and I want to draw cards, I can only draw 1 card because then I have reached my hand limit. And we keep playing until the third and final Winter is Coming card is revealed. When the first and second card is revealed, you simply remove them, discard them and draw a new card instead. But when the third Winter is Coming card is revealed, the game immediately ends and we're gonna count points. So the first 2 Winter is Coming cards are a warning that the end of the game is approaching. And except the 3 cards, all other cards have 2 options to play, either the left side or the right side, or cards that will have you choose the upside or the downside of the card. And if you want to play the butterfly into your forest, you have to pay the cost, of course. And the top side of a card, you make sure it's on top of a tree. If you want to play the frog, you pay no cost and you put it under the tree. As goes for this bat. If you want to play this bat, you put it on the left side of the tree. If you want to have this mouse in your forest, you put it on the right side of a tree. And so each tree has 4 sides to occupy, but if I want to play this animal, I cannot do so because this tree is already occupied. So first I have to get a new tree and then I can add this bat to that tree. So basically that's the game. There are 8 different trees in this game. Let me show you what they do. This oak is worth no points, but if you manage to collect all 8 trees in your forest, dus all 3 species, then it's worth 10 points. And once you have those 8 trees in your forest, you try to collect as many oaks as possible, because that's worth 10 each. And this tree also might give you a bonus when you put it in your forest, by giving you another turn. However, you need to pay both of the 2 cards with this color. So if I use those 2 cards, these 2 cards, to pay for this tree, I pay with 2 of the required color and I get an extra turn. If only one of the cards I pay with do have the required color, I don't get the bonus. They both need to be of that color. Then we have the Silver Fear. This card is worth 2 points for each card that is attached to the Silver Fear. And if you pay both 2 cards with the blue color, you'll get to put one animal with this symbol, for instance this European hare. You can put it into your forest for free, although you do not score the bonus of that animal should it have one. You're simply allowed to add it for free. This bird lets you draw 1 card from the draw pile, only from the draw pile, not from the clearing, and it's simply worth 1 point at the end of the game. This one also lets you draw 1 card from the draw pile. It's not worth any points unless you collect 4 of them, because then they're worth 5 points. This one will score you 1 point at the end of the game for each tree you have in your forest. And by the way, all cards are double-sided. You can always use the backside of a card to plant as a tree. It's not a type of tree, but still you can attach animals, plants and mushrooms to that card. An extra turn if you pay with the blue cards. It's worth 5 points at the end of the game. Each linden is worth only 1 point or 3 if no other forest has more lindens. And this one is the set collection one. Once you plant these in your forest, you try to collect as many as possible. On all cards is a small number that says how many of these types of cards are in the game. So there are 11 horse chestnuts in the game. And those are the trees. Now let me show you some animals. I'm not gonna show them all, because there are many of them. But as you will see, some cards need other cards to score points, so that's the fun of this game, trying to find the most scoring combinations. For example, this bat, it's worth 5 points only if you have at least 3 different types of bats into your forest. So you put it over here, and it's worth 5 points if at least 3 different bats are in your forest. Or you want to play the European Fat Dormouse. This card is worth 15 points, but only if a bat also occupies the same tree. So if you put this one over here, you want to find a bat to add to this tree. Unfortunately, you cannot play this card, because the bat is on the right side, and the right side of the tree is already occupied. So you're gonna search for a card that has the bat on the left side. Like I said, there can only be 1 card on each side of the tree. However, there's the European hare. Any number of European hares may share this spot, and at the end of the game you will score 1 point for each European hare. So in this case you can add multiple hares to this tree. But of course you want to try to get the hares attached to this tree, because this tree will score 2 points for each card attached to this tree. So if you combine the hare with the Silver Fear, you will score 2 additional points for each hare you add to this tree. So keep in mind all those combinations. That may also let you think about what cards you put in the clearing, because other players can take those cards. But most of the time you're already very busy trying to control your own forest, let alone watching what other players might need. This butterfly you will put on top of the tree, and you'll try to score as much as different kinds of butterflies as possible. If you can score a set of 5 different butterflies, you will score 20 points. This tree frog you will put underneath the tree, but it will only score once you get a gnat. It's worth 5 points per gnat, if that's how you pronounce it. So once you've placed this tree frog underneath a tree, you will try to find the gnats, because the gnats will score 5 points per card for your frog, although there are only 3 of them. When you play this gnat, you can play any bats from your hand for free, and also they're worth 1 point for each bat in your forest at the end of the game. So it's all mixing and matching with each other. This one will score you 3 points for each bird you have in your forest at the end of the game. Or the wood hand will go below the tree, and it will also score 2 points for each card in your forest below a tree at the end of the game. Let me see some more examples. The woodpecker, 10 points if no other forest has more trees. Also the common toad, if there's one common toad underneath a tree, it's worth no points. In this case you are allowed to put up to 2 common toads to share the spot underneath the tree, and then it's worth 5 points if 2 common toads share the spot. The beech martyr will score you 5 points for each fully occupied tree, so cards on all 4 sides of the tree. The fox will let you draw 1 card from the draw pile for each European hare you have in your forest, and also 2 points at the end of the game for each European hare. The squirrel only gives you 5 points if you put it on top of an oak. As with this bird, only 5 points if on a beach. And the wild boar is worth 10 points, but only if you have at least 1 squeaker in your forest. So once you've added this wild boar to a tree, you need to make sure you find a squeaker somewhere and add it also to your forest, which is worth 1 point, but it also makes the wild boar worth 10 points. As goes with the lynx, it's worth no points unless you have at least 1 roe deer in your forest, then it's worth 10 points. And finally I will show you the brown bear. When you place the brown bear in your forest, it will cost you 3 cards, and if you do so with the right color, it will allow you to draw 1 card from the draw pile and have another turn. But when you place the brown bear, you place all the cards from the clearing underneath your cave, and there it will be worth 1 point for each card underneath that cave. And there are 3 brown bears available, so you want to play the brown bear when there are a lot of cards in the clearing. But these are just some examples of the animals, plants and mushrooms you can encounter during this game. And that is how you play Forest Shuffle. Easy rules: on your turn you draw 2 cards, either the draw pile or from the clearing or a mix, or you play 1 card from your hand. And all the cards that contain 2 parts you need to attach to a tree, so it's key to build trees. Every time you build a tree you will also add 1 card from the draw pile to the clearing. And it's up to you to make a combination of animals and trees that work very well together to get you the most points. There are 3 Winter is Coming cards in the deck. When the 3rd is revealed, the game immediately ends. You're gonna count up all points. That might take a while, especially when playing with 2 players, because you're really getting a large forest. But then it suggests to first count the points of all your trees, then you're gonna count all the top sides of the trees, then all the bottoms, then all cards on the left of the tree, and finally all cards to the right of the tree. Maybe if you have cards underneath your cave, they are worth 1 point each, and then whoever has the most points is the winner. And there's no tiebreaker, so if there are multiple winners, you all share the victory. Beautiful artwork, easy to understand, easy rules, and a nice puzzle to find the best scoring combinations. If you have any questions about Forest Shuffle, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. My name is David, thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.